Yeah, so today will be a very special video. I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step process on how to scale your business the first 30 days. It's very, very important to know what to do, especially when I'm working with any client the first 30 days. So this is my step-by-step process on my thinking, my strategy, like what I like to do anytime I'm working with any client, any e-commerce client. So how to scale your business in the first 30 days, what I will do and why it works. It's very, very important to know why it will work. So the first thing first, okay, is the framework. The 7 step, I call it the 7 step system for the first 30 days. Before spending a shilling on ads, I work through these 7 steps in sequence. Every step builds on the one before it, right? So the first thing first is the best sellers. Finding the top 5 best-selling products. I would like to see what are the top 3 to 5 best-selling products, which are the fast-moving products. I would like to know that first, because that's what people are buying the most. So I'd like to know what are the top 5 best-selling products. Those are the products that will create ads on it, right? The fast-moving products. Second step is customer avatar, like who are we selling to? Who is my customer? Being as specific as possible, knowing my customer. Number 3 is positioning. After knowing your customer, okay, how are we going to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace? How am I going to speak to the customer? What's different between this product and other competitors? As you all know, any product you're selling, there are hundreds of thousands of people selling the similar product as you. So positioning matters so much. How am I going to position this particular product in the marketplace? Fourth step is add creatives. So which kind of formats are we going to use? Multiple formats and concepts. I like to know okay, I'm planning the multiple concepts and multiple formats we're going to use. Fifth step is the compelling offer. Having a very compelling offer, giving people reason to buy right now. You have to ask yourself, why should a customer buy right now? Having an offer is very, very important. If you have a very good ad but you don't have a compelling offer, it will create a lot of friction. So having a very compelling offer is very, very important. Sixth step is campaign launch. Like I like to have one consolidated CBO campaign, broad. I never do any form of interest lookalikes. I don't do that. I don't do that. Only broad targeting, CBO, one consolidated CBO campaign. Then second step is scale and iterate. Doing more of what's working. So once I launch an ad, I like to see the first 7 days, 14 days, which are the best performing ads, and doing more of what's working. Like what are the winning ads and why is it working? Then I'm making more iteration and variations of winning ads. This is the exact sequence. You cannot skip steps. The offer means nothing if you do not know who you're talking to. The ad means nothing if the offer is weak. Every step is load bearing. So everything is interconnected. If you have a very good ad but the offer is weak, it won't convert. If you have a very strong offer but you don't have good ads, it won't work either. So everything has to be aligned. Everything has to be connected, right? Everything is interconnected. So find the best sellers before anything else. I do not try to market everything. I find what is already selling and pour fuel into the fire first. Finding the best sellers, the fast moving products. Like that's my priority. Trying to scale 20 products at once scales nothing. The top 5 best sellers are already proven. The market has already voted. I just need to amplify the signal. Very, very important. The top 5 products, what I look at, right? Number one, of course, is highest order volume. Which product has the most repeat purchases and consistent demand month over month? Number two is best margin product. High volume is great, but I focus on the product where profit per sale justifies ad spend. Best margin product. Three, strongest social proof. The product with the most reviews, testimonials, which you see already in the marketplace. Clearest transformation. The product where the before and after is the most visible and most compelling. This works more so like, let's say you are selling like beauty and skincare, supplements, which has the clearest transformation or the biggest transformation. If you're selling something like supplements, health and wellness, this makes a lot of sense for or any form of beauty and skincare, right? Makes so much sense. Which product has the clearest transformation? Easiest to explain in 3 seconds, right? If I cannot explain why someone needs it in 3 seconds, it's not the lead product yet, right? Yeah, so Understanding the customer, who are we selling to? Before I write any single word of copy or brief, a single creative, I need to understand this person completely. Who is buying this? Their age, their income, location, lifestyle, but more importantly, what is their identity? Who do they want to be? And what do they believe about themselves and their situation right now? You have to understand your customer, like their age, their income, like what are their beliefs, how can you address those beliefs? If they are negative, false belief, how can you address it? How can you overcome it with logic, social proof, something like that, right? Understanding, like, what is their identity, who do they want to become, like how is this product going to change their lives, because that's what they care about. Customers only care about how the product is going to change their lives, the benefit of the product. How does this product change their life, not what the product does, what the customer's life looks like after they have been using it for 30 days. The transformation is the product. The physical item is just the delivery mechanism. As I talked about, customers only care about what the product does for them. They necessarily don't care about the product itself, like the ingredients, all that kind of stuff. They only care about the outcome, the benefit. What is the end results of this product? What is this product going to do for me? What problem are we solving? Surface problem, like what they say out loud. Deep problem is what they feel privately. Identity problem, who are they afraid of becoming? I need to know all these three before I create any form of ad creative, right? When I understand the customer this deeply, the ad almost writes itself. I'm not inventing language, I'm just borrowing the exact words they're already using to describe their problem. So this is just like a shortcut. After understanding who am I selling to, I just reverse engineer their words they're using, or their pain points, what's this product is going to do for them. Then it makes my work easier. Once you understand the customer, it will be very, very easy for you to create your ads. But if you don't know your customer at a very deeper level, you just create a surface level ads and it won't convert. It will be as in all your competitors. So very, very important. Positioning, speak the customer's language. Once I know who the customer is, I know exactly what to say and how to say it. Positioning is not just about the brand, it's about the customer, right? It's not just about the brand, it's about the customer. The selling angles I build: desire angle, lead with who they'll become, speak to the identity, what they are reaching for, right? Pain angle, name the exact frustration they feel right now, make them think you read their mind. So customers to feel like you are really talking to that particular person directly, right? Their pain, talking about their pain points, their desires, what do they like to become, speak the identity they're reaching. Who do they like to become when they buy your product, right? When you speak that at a very deeper level, that's how now you're positioning yourself. Social proof angle, show people just like them who got results. The customer should see themselves in the story. It's like a hero's journey, right? Education angle, teach them why the product works. Understanding creates trust creates purchase. So customers, you have to educate your customer, like what's the, teaching them new things, like teach them why the product, or like why should they buy this product. Once they understand like the benefit of this particular product, that builds trust, and trust is what leads to purchase. Fear angle, show the cost of inaction. What happens if they keep ignoring this problem for the next 6 months? It works. Human beings respond more to pain than pleasure. If you tell a person they are going to lose something, they are going to act on it than telling them they're going to gain something, right? It's just psychology, human psychology. Curiosity angle, open a loop they need to close. Start with something unexpected that makes them stop scrolling, right? You have to know how to grab people's attention. The hook, the first 3 seconds of your video matters so much. How you open your video, how you start your videos matters a lot, because people are spending so much time on social media. If you don't know how to grab people's attention, it won't work. So your ads will people actually won't be watching your ads. So your content, your ads, it won't work. So curiosity is very, very important. You have to know how to shock people, grab people's attention, and then retain them by explaining why they should buy your product. I do not pick one angle and commit to it forever. I just test multiple angles simultaneously and let the data tell me which one the market responds to the most. So I'm always testing different angles. Is it desire angle, pain, social proof, education, fear, and curiosity. So of course I'll start with, let's say, one or two, then I'll keep on building like that. So if desire angle works, I'd like to know, okay, which is the specific desire. Then I create more angles like that, like more variations. If it's pain, but when I'm creating more variation, I'm still testing. So let's say, for example, I launch let's say 10 ads, maybe one or two they work the best, so I'm spending 80% of my time creating more variations of that particular winning ad, and 20% testing other ads. You should not just be focused on just iterating, but always be testing. It's a forever thing, so you're never stuck on just winning ads alone. You're always testing, right? So add creative, multiple formats that grab people's attention. These are the different people respond to different creative formats. I start with two and add more as the campaign matures, right? As time goes by, I'm adding more. So these are the different formats I like to test. UGC ads, I like to start here. Real customer, real product, real results. Film on iPhone, no script, just guidelines. Feels native to the feed, highest trust signal. So these were user generated content. If you don't know about UGCs, user generated content. So this is where you're giving creators your products. They're giving reviews. They test the product, they give their opinions, why they like it, why they don't like it, their honest opinions. So UGC ads. Another one is street interview ads. Real people on the street ask about the problem your product solves before they know about your brand. Raw and real. Static images, these are like image ads. High quality product photography with a strong text hook overlay. Simple, fast to produce, easy to test, right? Founder ads. The brand founder on camera builds personal trust and brand authority, shows the human behind the product, right? Founder ads. Podcast clip ads, right? Short clips from conversation about the problem or the transformation, educational and credible, right? Podcast clips works because it's native. People are used to watching podcasts, so it's like in form of a podcast. People talking about the product, why should they buy it, like the benefit, all that kind of stuff. So in form of short clips, right? Conversations. The creative is the targeting. I do not rely on interest targeting or lookalike audiences to find the right person. The creatives find them. The right hook attracts the right buyer. I never do any form of interest. Those are the olden days. No interest, no lookalikes, none of that stuff. It's all broad, just age, gender, and location. That's all that matters. Then I'm just testing. I'm alternating between all these creative formats. I may start with UGC and statics. Most of the time, I always start with UGC and statics. Then I'll tell the client like, hey, can we do like street interview ads? Then client can be doing found ads. So it's just alternating. It just depends, right, with the brand and what's our most high leverage point should we start with, right? It can be any UGC, street and interview, static. It can be any is okay, right? So it just matters with the business and where the business is at. So building a compelling offer, giving them a reason to buy right now. The offer is the most underrated lever in e-commerce. A weak product with a strong offer beats a great product with a weak offer every single time. If you have a very great product, but your offer is weak, it won't work. Any product that has a strong offer, it works every time because you're giving people to buy right. Like you have to ask yourself, why should this person buy right now? You have to give people reasons. So an offer is all about value. So I'm going to explain. So these are the different kind of offers I like to do. Free gift with purchase. I always add a free gift. Gamify it. Orders above, let's say for example 3,000, unlock one gift. Orders above 5,000, unlock two gifts. The customer does the math and adds more. They buy more, so they feel like when they buy more, they get more free. So it's more value. It's all about value, perceived value. The more they buy, the more gifts they get. So it's more of they're getting more of what more of their money, right? In simple terms, stack the bonuses. Add something that makes the total package feel unreasonably valuable, a PDF guide, a free sample, an exclusive add-on, something that makes the customer feel like they're winning, right? Bonuses is very, very important. Stacking bonuses, create a genuine urgency. Why should they buy right now, not in 3 days, not in 2 weeks? Today, the offer must answer this question. Limited stock, time-bound bonus, exclusive window, real reasons only. Remove the risk. Money back guarantee, easy exchange, return policy, authentic guarantee, So, most of these customers, people buying from you, have been banned before. So you have to remove any form of risk as soon as possible. Remove every possible reason for them to hesitate buying from you. Ask yourself, if I saw this offer as a complete stranger, will I buy immediately? Like, you have to ask yourself, like, remove yourself in the founder's shoes, put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? Will you buy right now? Like, you have to ask genuinely, will you actually buy immediately? If the answer is anything less than yes, fix the offer before running the ads. You have to have a very compelling offer. If you don't have a compelling offer, people want to buy. I promise you that. So, because there are so many people selling the same product as you. It's very, very simple. So unless you have a very strong brand, people will feel like they won't have, they trust you, they know about you. But if you're competing with thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people selling the same product as you, it won't work if you're just, you don't have a very good offer, right? So take that into consideration. Very, very important. Campaign launch, one CBO, broad targeting only. This is where most brands overcomplicate everything, right? I make things as simple as possible. One campaign, one CBO. CBO means campaign budget optimization. I set the budget at the campaign level. Then I'm always adding new ad sets every time I have a new concept and I have a new angle. Every time I'm having I have a different angle of selling that particular product, or a different concept. I'm just adding multiple ad sets, right? So an ad set can have, like, let's say 3 ads. So this is an example, right? Ad set 1, UGC format. Ad set 2, founder format. Ad set 3, is interview. No, these are like different concepts, right? Different formats. Static ads. No interest targeting. I do not restrict Meta's ability to find buyers by adding any interest constraints. Broad is better in 2026. So no lookalike audiences. Lookalikes limit the pool. Broad targeting lets Meta find buyers we will never have thought about, right? So CBO is the way to go. Creative is the new targeting. The right hook attract the right buyer. Your creative does the targeting, right? So keep that in mind. I never do any form of interest. Just one consolidated campaign, CBO campaign budget optimization. Everything falls under that CBO. That's how you normally do it. Very, very simple. So how I'll decide the daily budget? So my ad budget depends on one number, the AOV. So it depends on two things. So number one is the AOV, the average order value. That's it. Everything flows from that single figure. So the first thing first, I'd like to know, what's the AOV? What's the average amount a customer is spending with this particular brand? If it's 5,000, I can start with 5,000 in a day. If it's 3,000, 3,000 in a day. If it's 10, 10,000 a day. But to keep that in mind, I have to make sure the budget per month is what my client can afford to spend comfortably without bankrupting their business. So I never try to overstretch, but of course I like to make sure it's a number where they actually care about whatever we are doing. Like, they care about it. It should not be just so low that they actually even don't care about whatever the outcome will be. So it has to be a sweet spot between what's the number that they care about when they spend in a month, and the number, of course, should be enough to bring in customers. So it's always about the AOV. So let's say, for example, the average order value is 3,500. I'll start with 3,500 in a day. Daily budget starts from 3,500 times 30. That's 105,000 in a month. That's fair. In my sense, that's fair. So if AOV is low, let's say under 1,500, I'm just careful with the ad spend. Your CPA might be lower, but AOV or you're just running at a loss, right? Focus on offer stacking to increase the AOV fast. So the first thing, of course, you have to understand, if your AOV is low, like let's say 1,000, 1,500, that's too low. I like to always stack it to at least 3,000 to 5,000 is a good sweet spot. At least the AOV, bundling, free gifts, but like anything I can do to increase the AOV makes a lot of sense, and if that will increase the profitability of that particular brand. So I always like to increase the AOV, like the sweet spot is 3,000 to 5,000 in a day. That's how I like to see it, right? Anything above 5,000 it's okay, but more room to spend on acquisition. You can afford a higher CPA, more creative formats. The more you can spend in a day, the more people will reach, as long as you know what you're doing, right? The higher the AOV, the better. If your AOV is lower than anything like 3,000, I'd never like to touch that. So I always like to increase it. So scaling, more of what works every week. After the launch, the system enters a weekly cycle. This is where compounding happens, right? Every week add new creative. Every week I'm always adding new creatives, new ad sets with fresh creative angles added every week. I never let a campaign run on stale creative, like some people just put like 5 ads and they just like, no, we are all, let's say we start with 5, like we know why you're starting with 5, then every week we are adding more and more and more ads, right? Every week identify the winning ad. If one ad is getting majority of the spend, you know Meta spoken. I study that ad. Why is it winning? The hook, the offer, the format, the emotion. Why is it working, right? Then I create variations. I build 3 to 5 variations of the winning ad. Same concept, different hook, same hook, different format, iterating the winner. That's what I like. I create more variations of. Once I know why something is working, once I know something is working, I like to go back to the drawing board. Why is it working? Then when I find that, I create more variations of that winning ad. Then every week I kill the losers first. Ads that get spent but not convert gets, within 5 to 7 days, do not get, I do not fall in love with your own creative. The market decides. Don't say like this ad is a very good ad, but if it's not making you any money, so why is it actually running? So I kill it. I kill the losers first. I just, I work on data, not emotions. I do not want to be right about which ad will win. I want to make money. Remove the ego, follow the data. The market is always right. So the complete first 30 days at glance. Find top 5 bestsellers. Focus on proven products with margin, social proof, and a clear transformation. Build the customer avatar, deep desire, deep pain, and the exact language they use to describe both. Knowing who you're selling to. Develop the selling angles, multiple angles tested. Desire, pain, social proof, education, fear, curiosity. Number 4, produce 2 creative formats, UGC and founder ads fast. Add more format every week. Build a compelling offer, free gifts with purchase, bonus, real agency, remove the risk. Build a very good compelling offer. Then launch one CBO, broad only, no interest, no lookalikes. The creative does the targeting. Scale what works weekly, new creative, iterate winners, and kill losers. Follow the data. This is my step by step. Find top 5 bestsellers, build the custom avatar, develop selling angles, produce 2 creative formats, at least 2, 3 is okay. Build a compelling offer, launch one CBO, broad only, no interest, no lookalikes. Then I scale what's working, what works weekly, new creative, iterating winners, killing losers, and following the data. Yeah, so what the first 30 days working with Astrum delivers: a consolidated CBO campaign, creatives that speak your customer's language, and offer that the customer cannot say no to, a data foundation for everything that follows, weekly momentum that compounds, predictable monthly revenue growth. That's now what's working with Astrum means. So 30 days, one system, one goal, more revenue for your e-commerce brand. So revenue over reach, data over emotions and opinions, systems over campaigns. We work with Kenyan e-commerce brands doing at least 3 million to 5 million per month, and who are serious about scaling. So if you find this video valuable and you like this kind of strategy to be applied in your business, you can reach out to us. Link in the description. You can apply to work with us. My team will reach out to you, and we'll see if it's a good fit, us working together. So this is my step-by-step process of what we like to do for any client the first 30 days. And if you like this video, I'll appreciate if you like, comment something in the comment section what you like for me to to do, which kind of content you like me to do. Then like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.